Thing that is rare nowadays is the continuity of their team, right? This defense has been around together for a while. Ever since I can remember my rookie year, most of these guys have been playing together, right? And so nowadays that doesn't happen all that often. You know, all the defenses I've played since then they got people scattered all over the place, right? But for this many guys to stay in one place is pretty special. It says a lot about their system and their coaching staff and how much they believe in each other, right? So I think that's the number one thing, and just obviously they've been great all over the years. They've been top 10 defense. You know, seems like you feel like every year, right? So they're really tough, but it's a good challenge for us.
Does it help you at all to see Ball's defense every day, just knowing that there are similarities between the two?
Yeah, some similarities. Like there's so many schemes that people run nowadays that are completely different than one another. They have some similarities, so that's nice, right? I think the thing that helps the most is for the scout team. They can just call out a defense and can kind of run it sometimes, But there's other things that Coach Zimmer's doing and their defensive coordinator that is a little bit different and that you have to prepare for, and and all those kind of things. But it does help to have at least some base of knowledge that you've seen some of it.
What's it do to get Richie Incognito back this week?
Oh, it's huge, man. He's a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. Any quarterback's excited about that, right? And that just shows you, the depth that we've had, man. Because you watch Denzel play, you watch Devy play. They've been solid players, right? And so you just add another guy on top of that, and then Gabe will come back after him, which is crazy, right? So we just have a lot of depth, and that's a good thing, especially when you play quarterback.
Did so well in the first two possessions against the Chiefs and had an good opening possession in week one. Even last season when you struggled, you guys were good on the first possession.
Yeah.
What does it take to carry that on?
Oh, yeah, kind of like what we did in week one. It's just the consistency of, everyone being on the same page, everyone doing their job. We can't have penalties. That's the first thing. We got to stay on schedule. I think the thing that hurt us the most in the Chiefs game was the pre-snap penalties. They call different defenses from 2nd and 3 to 2nd and 8. They call different defenses from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11. You know what I mean? So you just make it harder on yourself. And so if we can eliminate that, we can definitely be more consistent and play better football. But we've always been able to start fast, which is good, and hopefully we can do that again this week. But then maintain it and cut out the penalties, especially on the road.
I know everyone's tough. But what did you see out of Williams and Jacobs last week as far as their grit and getting back in the game?
Yeah, because you never know unless you play with them, right? A lot of guys, you can watch them from afar, you can watch them in college. It's completely different. But when you play with somebody, you see what they're struggling with, like I told you guys last year, Colton Miller, right? Just watching him struggle and go through that and didn't miss a rep of practice, same thing with those guys even today, besides the game, didn't miss a rep today. They're doing everything. But you really see how much it means to them, and they're just football players. There's a lot of guys that would get some of the similar injuries that they got and probably be done for the day, right? But those guys didn't tap out, man. They kept playing, they kept fighting, even when it was hard. That shows even more about their character and just shows, what kind of guys that Mr. Mayock and Coach Gruden are bringing in.
Derek, what's it like from a player perspective when you look at the schedule and realize you're not playing a game in Oakland for 7 weeks?
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny, man. It is what it is. I don't know who makes these things or whatever, but that's just the cards we're dealt. At least we don't have to play on any dirt. That'll be nice. Get all road rash and all that kind of stuff. So we'll play on some fields and have some fun with it. But we'll miss our fans. But Raider Nation, as you guys know, they travel everywhere. So hopefully we can take over a couple stadiums.
Is there something that you have to do mentally, I don't know, maybe even physically, to prepare to play on the road for so long?
No, it's really, really just the flight time, right? You got to take care of your body. There's things that go with that, and little tricks you learn over the years, and things you learn from people a lot smarter than me. They teach you things and stuff like that. But honestly, it really doesn't matter, because once you show up, it's just, whether you're on the road or not. I've always said I love playing on the road also, because it's so loud that you're just in your own little bubble. You're just focused, and you only hear your thoughts. You can't hear anything else. And I've always enjoyed that. So, it's always fun to hit a first down and hear everyone quiet down. It's there's a different fun factor to it. But we definitely miss the black hole playing at home. But you learn things over the years that help you on a travel schedule like the one we had. I think almost every year I've been here, we almost lead the league in travel, miles, So shout out NFL if you guys want to hook us up next time.
What's the best little trick you've learned?
I'm not going to tell you that one. I don't want anyone else to know. I'll tell you later, but I don't want anybody else to know.
Has there anything that surprised you about Jacob so far?
I'll say this. When he first came in, obviously you watch the film. I'll never forget, one of the first times me and Mr. Mayock sat down, he was like, Derek, you got to see this kid that I hope we can get him for you. And we literally sit down, and it's Josh Jacobs. And he's showing me these clips, and I'm like, this kid can do everything, right? And now it's college, right? I ran for almost 100 yards in some games in college. I've juked some people, right? It's a little different in college, right? I could do everything in college, too. I punted, and things like that. So when he shows up, and especially nowadays with how the practices are, you don't get to really know about, especially a running back, until you play real football. And we've played real football, man. He's been blitzed. He's been, different guys trying to toughen him up, so to speak. He's been they try to bully him and things like that, and he consistently runs his tail off, runs through people, finishes forward, picks up blitzes, catches the ball out of the backfield, all these things, and you're like, man, this guy really can do it all. And so I think it wasn't so much as a surprise as like, man, I can't wait to see what he can do, kind of thing. And he showed us that he can do it all. So, Wilbur.
What's impressed you about Waller through 2 weeks?
I think the thing about Waller is we all knew how special he is. We all know how special he is, and we all knew what he was capable of. But I think that he's just done it, and showed everyone he's an exceptional blocker. I think he doesn't get nearly enough credit, and he never will because of what he can do with the ball in his hands. But he's an exceptional blocker, way better than most at his position. That's saying a lot coming from a guy that came from receiver, right? And we have a few of those guys. Him and Carrier are both, right? He's a great blocker, great with the ball in his hands after the catch, and he's super smart, super tough, loves football, super competitive, and I'm super proud of that guy. I think he's. If I wasn't the quarterback here, I'd definitely just be a fan of that guy. I root for him. I think we've talked about all that and all, but it's not just of who he is off the field, but just, he can literally do everything. He's a Swiss Army knife, but a lot cooler.
Couple more. All set?
Good. Oh yeah.
2 weeks into the season, obviously it's still early, but
yeah.
Based on your expectations you have for yourself, the team, and just, reflecting on the first 2 weeks, where do you think you guys are at based on where you want it to be at?
Oh yeah, we'd rather be 2-0, right? So we're 1 win off, right? And that's the beauty of it is when you lose a game, and then 2 other teams in your division lose a game. Also, it helps, right? It's not a pat on the back, but it's like, oh man, we can't do that again, right? And so we saw where we fell short. We see where. Myself, I see where I need to be better and how I can be better for our team, and that's what I'm focused on. As long as I can continue to sit down with Coach, make sure I get my corrections, and I show him on the practice field and in the games, I can do that. I just got to take care of my job and play better for us, and then that way we can win some more games.
Do you like the chemistry and everything?
Love our team. Yeah, this team is, we're going the right way, that's for sure. Yeah.